All right, so what we're going to do now is we're talking about triangle choke. And a couple of people, well, actually more than a couple, had some problems with finishing the choke. Remember, the steps are threaten the triangle, lock the triangle, finish the triangle. I noticed last class some people were having some problems with that. So we're going to fix that. We're going to clean that up. I'm going to try to really dig down deep and really help your triangle finish. Because once you get that leg up on someone's shoulder, that's what you should be going for. You should be going for the triangle. Now, starting next week, I'm going to give you some options. If you can't get the triangle, I'm going to show you some other ways to get them. But triangle is number one we go for all the time. So let's clean up our triangle finish. Let's optimize it, make it the best that we can, make sure we got all the principles, because really there's a lot going on there, and it's not as easy as people think at first glance. You don't just throw your legs up like this and just pull and squeeze. It's actually, much more technical than that. So we want to be as technical as we can with our triangles. One thing I can't stand to see is someone go all the way to the treble and get the triangle and they just can't finish it. That's just so sad. It breaks my heart. Okay, so let's talk about maximizing or optimizing your triangle squeeze. All right, so let's keep in mind some basic principles. And I'm going to go ahead and go like this on Coach Justin because I think that's good for you all to see. So let's say I'm already in triangle setup position. Okay, first thing you got to know, guys, you don't really care so much about this arm. All right, but what you have to have is head control. Everybody say that. Head control. All right, we got to control his head. If I don't control his head, if I don't have at least one hand on his head, he's going to posture up and break free. You will never get a triangle on anybody who knows jiu-jitsu if you don't have this head control. So make sure you have head control. Now we're going to lock the triangle from here, and I emphasize getting sideways. Remember that? Who remembers the big word I taught you guys? Perpendicular. You got to get, he's this way, I got to get this way. All right, so I hold his head, I'm going to grab my shin, I put my foot on his hip, I'm going to step on his hip like it's a gas pedal. I'm going to push on it like this. And when I do that, watch me, whoop, I turn sideways, you see? I'm like half a T here. We're at a right angle. So I hold this like this. Bring this calf across the back of his neck, not on his back. You can't choke anyone on their back. You choke them on their neck. Put this calf across the back of the neck and put your knee, see I leave a little stub right here. You don't want to hook over your foot, hook over your ankle. That kind of hurts if you squeeze down on your foot. That feels pretty good. Now let me show you something here for kids. Kids have skinny legs typically and skinny necks. You don't want any space. Like a lot of times, imagine, now Justin's a big guy, so he doesn't have the skinny neck that I'm talking about. Kids have skinny necks, and they'll close, and there'll be this big gap in there. You don't want any gap in here. Take this out. Look, bring this in as tight as you can. Don't leave any gap in here. That's the number one problem I see with kids doing triangles, is you got skinny neck, skinny legs, big old gap in here, and they're trying to squeeze this with this big old gap. Like a python. Take out all the space. So when you lock your triangle, take away all the space. It's kind of easy for people like me to do because I have bigger legs and he's a bigger guy. For kids, take your leg and bring it in towards his head as much as possible. All right, now let's talk about the squeeze. We talked about getting sideways. Remember the kick and curl? Raise your hand if you remember that part. Remember I kick on the side of his neck. I'm like stomp and curl. And you can also add a knee squeeze to that. Stomp, you okay? Yep. Okay. Stomp and curl is primary. It's the most important thing. So let me just show you in the air. I'm going to stomp. I'm going to curl. And watch my knees. Like that. Hear that sound? I would do that if his head wasn't in the way. So it's on the back of his neck. No space in here. This can be here. It can be here. I don't really care. All right. But I want to kick him down, curl my feet, and squeeze my knees together. Watch this. Look at that. I can make a big guy, tough guy tap, and I'm not even using my hands yet. So it's kick, curl, squeeze, and then the head pull. I'm going to pull his neck against my thigh, against my hamstring. That's the back of your leg. At the same time, all that happens. So kick, curl, knees together, head pull, like this. And when you do that right, it feels like your head's going to explode. That won't happen, I promise. You ever seen anybody's head explode from trying?
Only twice.
Only twice.
Been a long time.
Yeah. All right. So, one more time. All these principles. It's a lot to remember, but you guys are advanced jitsu. I mean, look at you. Half of you are in black gis, which means you're on the black belt program. This is how you get a black belt triangle. You got to kind of know all this stuff. Jiu-jitsu is a very intellectual game. You got to know a lot of stuff. You got to use your mind. You got to understand the techniques. There's a lot to learn in your mind. One more time. Triangle setup position. Head control. Get sideways. Get that perpendicular. Back of the neck. Take out the space here as much as possible. Get to the side. We talked about, remember this arm anchor grip? You can do that. I can also link these, which is this. This is my favorite grip, by the way. Arm anchor around the head, link here. But what I'm going to do now is kick, curl, knees together, head pull, all at the same time. And I wasn't even doing it hard. You should be able to make your partner tap without even using your hands. And you should do that to make sure your legs are all good, because then when you add this in, it's just icing on the cake. Everybody got that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to make sure you guys have a really good triangle finishing squeeze, because before we move on to other options, we got to have this one down. This is the most important. This is the most important one to learn. Is the basic triangle squeeze, getting everything just right. On 3, 1, 2.